Hi there, this is Bobby from Ragged Poet, and I've been talking to a few people recently about dreams and using tarot in Dreamwork, and also in using the Mystic Dreamer Tarot in particular. This is an old-ish deck. It's by Barbara Moore, and was that Heidi Darras. I got it in about 8 years ago or so. There's a Llewellyn deck, yeah, and you get there's the card deck there and a thick guidebook by Barbara Moore. And I keep this deck. I don't particularly like the artwork on the deck. It's quite I got stuck on the corner thing. It's CGI. It's the backs give you actually quite a good indication of what the book's about. The deck's about, sorry. It's got the parchment borders, and it's very generally standard RWS based. But yeah, I mean, strength card, for example, that's just, I just don't like that at all. You got this circus strongman kind of whatever she is strength thing. It's just I don't know what to call it really. Copycat. I don't know. Hollywood RWS, Hollywood style RWS, Hollywood tarot. I don't know. Anyway. Plastic people. So I'm not a lover of the artwork in the deck, but it does work well for Dreamwork. And I started using it. There was a bit in the book about choosing cards, and I sort of followed that a little bit, and it didn't work out as great as they said. I think you have to divide the dream into scenes or something like that. But how I do it is I have my dream journal, which is, oh, it's actually just a tarot. My grandson's had it too. It's a book that I've used for all kinds of stuff. And when I wake up in the night, I'm going to use an old dream to demonstrate this to you, because I haven't remembered my dreams for a while now. You need to have either the card deck and a light, or preferably a journal or notebook by the bed. And as soon as you wake up and you remember the dream, just write down as much as you can possibly remember, scenes and things like that. And dreams work by symbolism, and tarot is the same. It's imagery and symbolism. So I had this dream which I wrote down in my journal. I'm going to use slightly different names because of, you know, it's obviously personal and private. But so in the dream, we've got Richard, Brian, Dorothy, me, and maybe vague other people. And we're all in a house, and Dorothy, who was actually a great aunt of mine who's no longer with us, was visiting, and there were some dogs there. I'm not sure whose house it was. And then this guy, Richard, enters the dream, and he decides to move us somewhere else for some strange reason, to this old house that belongs to him. And he's trying to sell the house, but when we go to visit it, it turns out that it's falling down. And he's told by a neighbour that he lost the opportunity to sell it because he wasn't aware of what was going on. Meantime, I'm doing something, whether it's to do with repairing this house or not. I'm trying to rescue these old single records, like 45s, the little round discs, you know, about 7 inches. They used to be called 7-inch singles. They're all on a wall and they're falling down. And there's this big kind of open shop-like window, but everywhere's really run down. And for some reason, it's in Derbyshire in the UK. But Dorothy has these 3 dogs, and they seem to be really happy in the house. And she's kind of faint, but she's definitely present in the dream. And also there's a toilet somewhere in the dream which we want to get to, but it's really hard. We've got to climb over this broken stuff to get to it. So that's the dream. I know it sounds a bit random and way out there, but dreams are like that, aren't they? So I chose some cards, and how I did it, I just went through the deck and chose cards that appealed to me from the dream. So this is the Ten of Pentacles. I don't look at the names, I just look at the pictures. This reminded me of the beginning of the dream, where things were going on around me, people were turning up and visitors, and this king came along, and then there's this person with, I don't know if you can see the 2 dogs there. So that reminded me of when the Dorothy came in with the 2 dogs. And then this reminded me of the guy who turned up and decided that he was going to take us to his house, which he told us was this amazing old house in the background. So I saw this image and instantly thought of that. And then we get to the house, but the house is falling down and it's kind of broken. This also reminded me a bit of when you had to climb over all this rubble to find the toilet, which is a basic of everyday life. So this Tower card reminded me of the fallen down house and the fact that it was all broken. And then we've got the neighbour who was saying you could have sold that house, maybe, and for a lot of money, but you were unaware of what was going on. And this card's got these 2 people who are looking onto this fantasy land. They're unaware of what's actually going on in the background. They're oblivious. So that reminded me of them. And then the 8 of Pentacles reminded me of me trying to stop all these single records falling down off of the wall. So that was my dream. So there, I chose those cards, just flipping through the deck, picking out the cards. You can do it quickly. It's very much an intuitive thing. You see an image, a symbol. It can just be a little tiny part of a card. That's how it works for me. And the King of Wands was towards the end of the dream, where there was Dorothy and the dogs content in their space, whether it was this house or not. And here we've got, there's actually 2 cats, but this card reminded me of her, and these 2 creatures remind me of her being content with her dogs. So those are the cards I chose. And then I normally choose a random card that I just shuffle and pick from the deck without looking, to give me an overview of what it's all about after I've chosen all the images. And this time I got the Queen of Pentacles. At the time of the dream, I'm not going to go into interpreting it all because it is quite personal, but it all was very relative and appropriate to what was going on. But basically I was starting a new business venture at the time, and all of the pentacles were really appropriate for that venture, so it kind of worked out pretty good. But every time I've done this Dreamwork and used the deck, and it's always worked out to be really a pretty good way of diving into your intuition. And you can use any tarot deck. This one seems to work well. Maybe I think the RWS style, Rider-Waite-Smith style decks work well because the imagery is normally quite easy to interpret and quite clear. But you know, you just literally, you flick through, say, okay, let's make up a dream. I dream I'm trying to buy something in a busy place. What am I trying to buy? I'm trying to buy a ball in a busy place, and I can't find it, and I keep seeing splashes of red everywhere. So we go through, and I might look at that one because it's a ball, or I might look at the moon because it's like a ball, and there's a lot of people around there. But you go around quickly, I've seen this got a little bit of red in it. There's red, so I'd probably definitely pick that one because it's red and it's kind of round shaped. This gives me an idea, although it's an empty building, of a big like shopping mall kind of area. And again, a ball, there's a big ball in that card. And so it goes on. So you would just literally, you flick through the deck and you find cards that look roughly like things in the dream, and then interpret them. It's just kind of another way of shuffling, but in the way your your subconscious is doing the shuffling for you. So there we are, short and sweet, under 10 minutes. I'm gonna say goodbye and upload this video. Whoops. And I hope that's helpful. Sorry it was so fast and fleeting, but sometimes they're the best ones. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye bye.